Good morning, YouTubers, and welcome once again to the Stinkbug Works, that super secret research and development division of Dr. Jet Laboratories. I'm here to talk some more about the JetStepper and the single-stepped hydro challenge. For the sake of discussion, the entry does not have to be this particular model, but it needs to be this size. So why not use this model? I mean, the plans are there. You can change the shape of things, I don't care. But just as long as it's a single-stepped hydro. But let's talk about the development of this thing. Over here in Jay's, remember we talked about this before, he had a plastic transom, and I put a doubler on it, and you see the way the non-trips developed from the back of the step here, and it left a flat on the side. And the first model here did sort of the same thing. I had the non-trips developing from the back of the step to here, and had a flat here, partly so I could attach the heat shrink, and I did a plastic transom. Then as I went to the alternative covering, when I did the non-trip, I made it bigger to take up the whole side to where it would just meet the top surface. It gives it sort of this nose low look. It's kind of swoopy back here, but that's just the shape of this thing. You could alter that. And this version was the first that I came up with this, that the rudder here, where it mounts, I mean, it's got to be strong. Well, how are you going to make it strong enough when it's just going into a hunk of foam? And here's the secret over here. When you're gluing this thing together, and do I have you in the picture here? When you're gluing this thing together, take a little block of 1x1 wood, and with a hacksaw blade, just cut a little notch in there and glue this in there with expanding polyurethane glue when you're gluing the whole hull structure together. And see, in this one, you can actually see it in there, and it's rock solid. It's not going anywhere. So little thinking there. The other day I talked about this curved wraparound push rod. You see the first one I did here, I just took a bend, but then as this swings through its arc, it makes it awkward. So I find this just gives additional length to the whole push rod business. When I was talking about motors, I mentioned I found there are these little tiny motors, these little coreless motors, and this is for an airplane, but there's 3 of these little suckers. Now, I don't know if these are designed to run off of 1S or 2S. And most of our radios and receivers and servos have to run off of 2S. So this might possibly be able to wire them in series and run them on 3S. That's a thought. That might be a real good thought. Where is it? This is that another coreless motor, much larger one in this case, and that single little gearbox. And again, that has the advantage of being able to get lower and lower and lower in the hull. You see that gear is now the limiting factor in how low I can get this end of the shaft, and therefore how flat I can get this angle. That's about the meat of what we're going to talk about here today. We'll be joining these hauls up in sometime next week. Sometime next week I'll get to it. Right now there's a bass guitar that's on the southerly wing of the Stink Bug Works, and it's drawing all my attention. So as soon as that's resolved, I'll be back here and we'll be looking at the challenge haul a little more. Okay, boys and girls, Jet out.